Okay, let's see. And it's live. So now we're coming over here. Okay, so now I'm coming over here, connecting stream. Oh, there we go. I can't hear anything. And we are live. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. I'm not going to be able to look at the comments over there. That's okay. I'll look at them later. Welcome, everyone. But if you're on LinkedIn or YouTube, oh, actually, I should be able to see your comments. Hi, Miss Maddie. Okay, can you hear me and see me? Do a wave or something in the comments. Actually, as you get in, let me know if you're an employee, self-employed, a business owner, or investor, because we're talking to you right now. That's who this live stream is for. All of you who have an interest in the cosmetic industry, that's who we are talking to tonight. So give me a thumbs up or something so I know you can hear me. Thumbs up or hearts or whatever you can do, whatever you can do over there. I see you guys. Say a little something so that I know you can hear me. Otherwise, I don't know that you can hear me. Someone give me a sign that you can see me and I'll get started here. So right now I don't think you can hear me or see me because you're not doing anything for me to let me know that you can hear me or see me. All right, let's get started. So tonight we're going to talk about the TAM, also known as your total addressable market. So right now, if you go to ChatGPT, you're going to hear a definition that's very business school-esque. And it's going to tell you that it's the total demand for a product or service if you were to capture 100% of the market. That means basically if everyone who could buy from you actually did, that would be your TAM or your total addressable market. But here's where we have the edge, those of us who are clinicians, because most people calculate TAM based on generic consumer categories or industry spending reports. However, we understand populations through a clinical lens. That's their symptoms, their biology, their lived experiences, their disparities, demographics, access to issues, and cultural patterns that the beauty industry often overlooks. In fact, if you're a nurse or a nurse practitioner, you have a superpower because we have access to human data. Right now, chat, Google, all of those platforms, they're spending millions and billions of dollars to get access to human data. If you're a nurse and you've taken care of anyone for 8 or 12 hours for years at a time, you have data that you're never going to find on the internet. And even though we have that at our own disposal, we don't know how to capitalize on it. And hopefully today we'll be able to show you how exactly to do that. If you are on TikTok, share this live with your friends and also okay, let me know that you can hear me or see me. Do something over there so I know that you can. We're going to talk about the cosmetic industry today, and I want you to expand the way that you think about TAM. I don't want you to just look at people who can get Botox or filler, or people who spend money on skincare or go to the gym or your local boutique or the 5K or the health club or any of that. I want you to think bigger, think clinically, think the holistically, just like we do in our clinical practice as nurses. Your TAM is going to include everyone whose quality of life, confidence, or skin health could meaningfully improve because of your expertise. Hi, everyone. Let me know that you can see me or hear me. I need like a thumbs up or something. So actually what I want you to do right now, if you're an employee, put a 1 in the chat. If you're self-employed, put a number 2. If you are a business owner, okay, I see YouTube can hear me. Can you hear me? And then if you are a business owner, put a 3. And if you're an investor, put a 4. Hi, Mike, Marsha Girl, Ty, Dia, April. Let me know, which one are you? Kenny, My Piece 100. Okay, so right now you can join live on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Kimberly Madison. I'm the founder of the Alliance of Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners, which is a professional membership for nurse practitioners who specialize in cosmetics and entrepreneurship. Because after you go to that on-demand course, or your weekend training, or you go back to university, you always have another question. Your first question is never your last question. So where do you go after that? We provide that ongoing mentorship and coaching. We pick up where they leave off so that you don't have to go through it alone. You don't have to go out feeling overwhelmed or burning out, just like you did in clinical practice. Tonight, we're talking about total addressable market. So this is how many people need treatment. Now, if you want to be a founder, you have to look bigger than what you see on social media. According to one of my favorite journals, the Journal of Drugs and Dermatology, their May 2022 issue, they talk about dyschromia. So that's your pigmentary issues. And they said that it's the #1 patient outcome resulting in malpractice claims in dermatology. Think about that. The biggest legal risk in our industry is also one of the top 3 complaints for patients of color. This is high risk, high demand, and if you know how to position yourself, you can get a high profit. So how can you capitalize on something like hyperpigmentation as an employee, self-employed business owner, or an investor? That's what we're going to talk about today. And this is how you expand your TAM, because right now when you hear people start talking about the cosmetic industry, the first thing they're going to tell you is that it's oversaturated or there's too much competition, because they're talking about a limited trans-addressable market. And tonight I want you to expand the way that you think about this. Hi, Teddy, Tommy, Jimmy, and is that Miss Philly? Hi, good evening, everyone. Okay, so first let's talk about you're an employee. A lot of us want to start off as employees because we don't have any experience. You don't get any experience in nursing school or in NP school. So the first thing you're looking to do is to work under someone who has experience. And that's your first challenge, because they want you to have 2 years of experience. Even if you spend $2,000 or $3,000 on that Botox or filler course, they want 2 years of experience. So then what happens is most people end up going out on their own. But if you do get lucky enough to get a job, you start off as an employee. Most people are raised to be an employee. So let's say you start off working for a med spa. A patient comes in with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. You treat them, you get paid an hourly wage, maybe even a commission. You traded in 45 minutes of your life for that money. If you don't treat the patient, you don't get paid. That's called linear income. You only make money when you show up. So how do you expand that trans-addressable market? Okay, so you're no longer the worker. You're what we call an intrapreneur. Okay, you're going to have ideas from the inside. You're going to pitch your employer to start with, you're going to call a hyperpigmentation center of excellence within the practice. You're going to take ownership of this. You're going to write the protocol, lead the program, and negotiate a percentage of revenue that's specific to that vertical. Use their overhead to build your income stream. I love entrepreneurship, but look, it's hard work. It's not for everyone. And so this is a way a lot of us work for someone else and we use that money to fund our dream. So being an employee is not bad at all. You just know how to have to position yourself. And quite frankly, I don't really think everybody wants to be a business owner or investor. I think most people are having a poor employee experience and they feel like the only other choice they have is to go work for themselves. But if you know how to find good talent, you know how to take care of them and put them in positions where they're really good at something, not just where they're passionate. I talk about this every week on my YouTube channel. So we talk about working for yourself. Let's look at self-employed, because that's usually where most of us go as soon as we decide that we're going to create our own business, or you've tried to get a job in a cosmetic industry and you haven't been able to. So you tend to go into the self-employed bracket. So as the employee, you were upset you didn't get PTO, you weren't paid enough, there wasn't enough flexibility. But now as self-employed, you're doing everything. Okay, you own the practice, you bought the laser, you treat the patients, you keep 100% of the fee, but you also pay for the malpractice insurance, device lease, and the lights. If you get sick, nobody treats the hyperpigmentation, nobody gets paid. You own your job. A lot of MPs live in this space right here in particular, and just like the employee, you only make money when you show up. So how do we expand that trans-addressable market, right? So then your fear of saturation and competition goes down. So instead of waiting for clients to walk through your door, you go to them. You can host a pop-up hyperpigmentation shop. Partner with skincare brands, and don't just think about the big ones. There's little brands all over the place that would love to partner with you. that serve your same demographic. And here's one I know you haven't heard. Put a yes or no in the comments if you've heard this one before. I want you to partner with one of your local OBGYNs who's treating hormonal issues like PCOS. You're going to leverage their audience to fill your schedule. Become a strategic partner, not just a solo injector. Welcome. Hello, hello. Hello, TikTok. Okay, so now you're on the right side of the quadrant. We want to move to the other side of the quadrant. Remember, if you're employed or self-employed, you only make money when you show up for work. But all of us want to make money in our sleep, right? It's really the only true way to generational wealth, and generational wealth is the only true way to freedom, financial freedom. So you can do whatever you want, when you want, with the people that you want to do it with, when you want to do it. So business owner, we're on the other side of the quadrant now. So the business owner, you're going to create a proprietary hyperpigmentation protocol. Let's call it the melanin safe method. This is where you hire other NPs. You train them on your protocol. They're going to treat the patients. The business makes money whether you're in the building or not. You have monetized your intellectual property, not just your hands. You're making money even when you don't show up. You're making money in your sleep. Doesn't that sound good? Cocoa latte? So how do you expand this? Okay. You're not just going to train your own staff. You're going to package the melanin safe method and you're going to license it to other med spas in the state. And you can think, well, why can't they just do this for themselves? If you're in business, you know the two things we don't have: time and money. You think it's so easy to come up with something like that. Someone else, they just don't have the time. There's only 24 hours in the day. And all of us are living a full-time life. We have a full-time job and we're trying to build our dream on the side. You might be getting married, having children, and what seems easy and quick to you is a big barrier to someone else. The things that you know and take for granted, someone else is Googling that every single minute. So you're going to package your melanin safe method, license it to other med spas in other states, sell the certification. Now you aren't just making money from patients in your crowded city, Florida. You're making money from clinics across the country who are terrified of that malpractice risk that I mentioned at the start of this live. You're selling safety and certainty. Nurses are all about safety. We're all about protecting our license. We're all about making sure the patient stays top of mind. Isn't that right, T. Jones? Okay, now the investor. Finally, right? One of my favorites. This is the level most nurses don't touch. You invest capital into a skincare line specifically formulated for tyrosinase inhibition. Or maybe you buy shares in a laser company that's developing 650 microsecond technology. You aren't treating the patient, you aren't even managing the clinic. Your money is working to solve the problem of hyperpigmentation, and it pays you dividends. Again, you're making money in your sleep. This is where we all want to be. Now, how do we elevate this? Again, so we can expand our market. You move into the position of advisory equity. You have your clinical brain. These companies have the money, but they lack the data that you have direct access to. And approach a laser company, a skincare startup. There's so much technology happening right now. You literally can approach anyone. Offer to run their clinical case studies or sit on their medical advisory board. And not just for a speaking fee, but for equity. This is ownership in the company. You trade your clinical expertise for a piece of that asset itself. And this is my favorite part. Where are you going to get this money? When it comes to business, you need money, right? Who has money? Well, we think venture capitalists. You go anywhere, they're going to talk to you about VCs and venture capital, and everyone's going to complain that no one's giving you enough money. You went to your family and your friends, and they don't have money. But you know who has money? Nurses. Nurses have money. They might have $5,000. They might have $50,000. If you're a small business, I bet you would love to take a check from them right now. And if that nurse doesn't have the money right now, guess what? They can go pick up a bunch of shifts, and in 30 days, they're going to have that money. Not only that, but they also are creating businesses at the speed of light right now. So not only are nurses primarily positioned to be investors, we're also primarily positioned to be investable, because of that human data that I talked about. We're masters communicators. We have only a few seconds to create rapport and to get someone to make a life or death decision, and we just met them. No, tell me another industry that has to do that on a daily basis. Master communicators, problem solvers. If you can see yourself as a problem solver, you can solve any problem anywhere and make money at any time. But you have to believe that. You are not just the nurse. You're a problem solver. You can de-escalate situations. You know how to be the liaison between groups that never talk. You are what we call MacGyvering. You're not going to get paid to MacGyver, but you will get paid to be innovative. That's a whole industry in itself. So do you see the difference here? We talked about how you move from only making money when you show up to making money in your sleep. We talked about what we have right now, what you see as being saturated and competition, into expanding the market. Because if you just look at your table, everyone's not sitting at your table. So if you're struggling to get people to engage in your content, to show up at your door, to schedule those appointments, to do those follow-ups, think about who's not at your table. How can you expand your TAM? Okay, you can treat the exact same pathology, hyperpigmentation, as someone else, but the employee makes the wage and the investor, they make a fortune. So the difference isn't your clinical skill, it's your financial literacy. We just started Financial Intimacy, a 6-week series over at the Alliance. And this is all about your relationship with money. I can teach you about marketing, how to buy ads, how often you should show up on social media, how to price your products, what kind of promotions to run during the holiday. But it's not going to mean anything if you don't understand your relationship with money. You're going to price yourself out of the market every single time. You're going to leave money on the table every single day. You're going to find it very easy to lower your prices to try to stay in competition to someone down the street if you don't understand your relationship with money. So all week long, we'll be coming back talking about these different aspects of financial literacy, specifically for cosmetic nurse practitioners, especially if you want to build a business on the side or start your own empire. I want to thank you all for joining. You're still here, so I assume you can hear me and you can see me. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Let me run over here to the comments, see if there's anything there that I need to address. This is my first time. What do you think? So let me know in the comments. 1, if you're an employee. 2, if you're self-employed. 3, if you're a business owner. And 4, if you're an investor. Thank you all for joining. I will see you tomorrow right here. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Thanks.